Hello everyone, welcome back to Huntcraft. So with Desolation's Wake, we got two new guns, the Marathon and the Mako, and from the info I gathered and the poll I made, it seems like you guys are enjoying the Marathon more. It's obviously more accessible, because it's a far cheaper weapon, more versatile than the Mako, and it even unlocks earlier in the Battle Pass. So given all that, let's have a deeper look and analyze that weapon, see where it fits in the meta if it does, and if it replaces any guns or dethrones any favorites. First off, I think the feel of the gun is pretty nice. It's got a unique sound to it, got a very slim profile when you're ADSing. It's probably one of the least view obstructing guns in the game. Iron sights are pretty clean as well, far better than the Winfield at least, which has the hammer getting in the way with every shot. For some reason, it gives me very strong Growl vibes from the first Warzone, and it can only make me think of the contrast in comparison with this ugly excuse for a gun. The Marathon benefits from bullet grubber, which is not really a big deal because it has a pretty generous magazine and reserve ammo, and it also greatly benefits from Iron Eye, which will increase its fire rate. It also has a fairly long reload, but that's not really a big problem because we have a swift variant that basically completely negates this issue. I think this gun comfortably competes with the three other guns in its category, which are the Winfield, the Officer Carbine, and the LeMat Carbine. I personally think the LeMat Carbine is the king in this category. If you want to know why, please check out my previous video detailing why the LeMat is so special. So let's see if the Marathon can dethrone it. Looking at the stats of those four guns in comparison, with the most popular type of ammo in each gun being used, that will be FMJ for all of them and high velocity for the Officer Carbine, we can see that the Marathon is the highest damage, beating the Winfield. But obviously that also doesn't mean much on its own. Recoil, fire rate, damage drop-off, and bullet velocity all play a factor in our evaluation. Looking at fire rate, when I want to evaluate a gun's fire rate, it only makes sense to look at effective fire rate, which is a combination of cycle time and vertical recoil, which again, I explain better in my LeMat video. But in this case, the Marathon is pretty bad. It's worse than the Officer Carbine with high velocity ammo, which is a type of ammo that makes the carbine's recoil even worse than it normally is. Although it feels like the Marathon kicks high, it recenters back quickly, and it always kicks up and a little bit to the right, while the Officer Carbine kicks up and horizontally both ways, which makes it harder to predict. So it feels like the reacquisition of target is better than the Officer Carbine, but this is a feel and a skill thing. It's just hard to evaluate it objectively. On paper, the Marathon is just worse. FMJ is the only recommended option for this gun right now. It doesn't have anything else except just poison ammo, and it doesn't affect recoil or cycle time. So let's compare the fire rate / recoil of all four guns, taking into account the smallest magazine of the four, which would be the Officer Carbine at 7 bullets, and also keeping in mind that we are applying Iron Eye, which will improve the fire rate for both the Marathon and the Winfield. And I'm just spamming left click here, I'm not waiting for any recoil control. Next up, let's look at the damage drop-off for those four guns. They're all compact ammo, so they follow the same pattern or formula for damage drop-off, but I went and tested it myself in the fire range just to see it for myself and have a real-life demonstration of the actual drop-off chart. I've only tested damage to torso, as that's the main hit location that matters. Headshots are headshots, and limb damage is too weak to find any meaningful difference in it, especially at longer ranges. We can see here, comparing the base damage drop-off, the difference is not that big, and it remains consistent across all ranges, which is to be expected, as they are the same type of bullet. But this shows the Marathon being at the top and the Officer Carbine at the bottom for all ranges. We can also see that anywhere after 100 meters, the difference becomes more and more insignificant. But switching to special ammo, we can see here that they all get a boost in their 2-tap or 3-tap ranges, while keeping the same amount of difference between them, while the officer carbine is kind of left behind, because high velocity ammo does not boost damage range. Which leads us to the final aspect, bullet velocity. With FMJ, the Marathon gets punished hard in the velocity department. It goes down to 360 meters per second. This means the benefit you get from the longer range of damage we saw in the chart is countered hard with needing to lead your shots properly at longer ranges, which makes it even harder to recommend for new players from that point of view. We can see in comparison here, the Marathon loses 16% of its speed, the Winfield loses 17% of its speed, but the LeMat Carbine, which is already the fastest bullet of the three, only loses 10%. The LeMat here, like in other categories when looking at it, is pretty OP. It's punished the least by the decrease in velocity with FMJ ammo, and it drops to 415 meters per second, which if you've been playing this game for any period of time, you are very familiar with, because this is more or less the same speed as the uppercut. So the trade-off here is at further ranges, you need to lead less with the officer carbine, but need more hits to kill. While with the FMJ guns, you need to lead a bit more, but you have less shots to kill. Which kinda shows how the balance is designed in the game. You will either need the skill to control recoil, or the skill to lead shots to get good results with any of those guns at longer ranges. So in conclusion, the Marathon is an upgraded Winfield in my opinion, at least for now. It's a good entry-level gun, as the default recommendation for new players has always been the Winfield, I think. This one is even cheaper, and even though the Winnie has levering, this gun's hipfire is kind of broken. Now, just for context and to demonstrate how nuts the hipfire is, here's a comparison. Hipfire is by far the fastest to empty the full mag, followed by the Iron Eye ADS, followed by ADS without Iron Eye. I'm not entirely sure this is intended. I'd assume it will get nerfed, but along with it, hopefully the gun gets a velocity boost to FMJ bullets, just like they did with the LeMat Carbine, and maybe gets dum-dum or high velocity. That would be great. Now let's jump into some action. So we hear a fight here in the white building on the hill to the east from here. Even though I see that dude, I know there's two teams busy together, and if they don't know we're here, I don't want to risk alerting them yet. My teammate started shooting, so I might as well push. They seem to be inside or behind the building, so I try an explosive. Now I stupidly got myself in a tough position with low ground from a team that know I'm here and a guy who shot at me from east. And they downed my teammate. They got him from the bit above me, so probably my best option is to try to get to him and revive. They burn him from across, so I try to put out the fire. And FMJ helps me steal that kill. Now hopefully I can get away with reviving. My teammate is in line of sight from the window, so I jump in front of him just to protect him, and I get another FMJ kill. They've gone quiet, so they might be reviving, so I try to spam some fire to be as annoying as possible. Now my teammates are pushing, so I might as well. And a hip-fire kill to finish the fight. This one is a quick example that showcases very well the higher damage and generous 2-tap range for the marathon with FMJ. So in this one, after banishing the boss, we hear the spine altar, so we know there's a team pushing, and they're the other bounty. I hear them on the metal stairs, but I know I have the worst fanning gun ever, so I try to have a tight angle so I don't get shotgunned or something. And that weird sound probably means none of my bullets went through. I thought if they stay on top of the stairs at that corner, maybe I can get an angle from here. Well, I think this is a bug. It used to happen with the Spectre, I think. I think if you shoot and then hold click, and whether you switch guns or you get hit or something, the gun basically ends up popping the empty case, but never really chambers the next bullet. But I'm not entirely sure about this one, so please let me know in the comments if you know how to exactly replicate this issue. I get the kill. And it's gone quiet, and I'm far from my team, so I thought I'd push and maybe burn the guy and take the bounty. Alright, so one of them has a rival. That was a bad scan. I only saw one guy. I think I was sure they were on top of each other, but I completely didn't see the second guy. I hear one, surely on my level, going into the boss lair, maybe trying to go around for a revive. The one below got my teammate, and luck actually worked for me, and I got a kill with a chain pistol, so now it's 1v1. He's got my 2 dead teammates on him, and I got his on me. I can hold the corner, and I'm hoping I have more scans than he does, so I can keep tabs on him in case he tries to push me. So I go get a quick second back for my scans and then burn his teammate to put him under pressure. He's still below, so probably doing the same thing, keeping an eye on my teammates and hoping I try to necro. He might get in range below to necro this guy, and I might not hear it from the fire, so better to keep an eye on this one and keep an ear on the stairs if he necros the first one I killed. I got 3 scans, so I feel comfortable waiting for him to make a mistake. Aha, now he's running. Probably was trying to find something to burn my guys and couldn't find anything. And I shit on your rival, mate, with my marathon. It's a fun gun to use for sure, but it doesn't dethrone the versatile and reliable Lamat carbine for me. In this category, the Lamat carbine is still king. But this is a welcome, fun addition to a category that has had 3 guns only.
Nicely done, man.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the video and found the information helpful. Please let me know in the comments how you're finding the marathon, what's your highest kill game with it, or if you've noticed any quirks or aspects of the gun that I might have missed. And please remember to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.